And I will tell you, I'll assess your homework some kind of way tomorrow. I haven't decided how. I won't walk around and check it. I want to make kind of see that you understand it. So maybe I'll give you one just like number 8, or maybe I'll give you a piece of paper and say, hey, you know, what did you get for 8? I don't know. Just I'm going to try to check and make sure you can do this chi-square business. All right, on number 7, it's the one about birds and trees. And it says, researchers studied the behavior of birds. In this forest, 54% of the trees were Douglas firs, 40% ponderosa pines, 6% other types. At a randomly selected time of day, the researchers observed 157 of this certain type of bird called nuthatches. 70 were in Douglas firs, 79 in ponderosa pines, and 7 in other types of trees. Do these data suggest that these birds prefer particular types of trees when they're searching for seeds and insects? Carry out a chi-square goodness of fit test. Okay, so we need to do state plan, do, conclude, and what should our hope be on this one? If we're talking about those birds, what do you think our hope should be? For the M&Ms, we said that our hope was that the stated color distribution was correct. So what do we, on what should we put? We're thinking that, aren't we thinking that the birds, we'll find the birds and the trees corresponding to the percentage of that type of tree? So we're thinking if there's 54% Douglas firs, we're going to find 54% of the birds in Douglas firs and so on. Probably a really easy way to write this, and it's an acceptable way. You can just do that. You can make one general statement, or you can do that. And in this case, I'm wondering if that might be a little bit easier. And then for pines, and then other. I think the other way you could have said it is you would find birds, the amount of birds proportional to the percentage of trees, kind of like the acreage in your crappie, but this is a way to. Okay, if that's your hoe, then your haw has to be at least one of the p's or proportions incorrect. You would think you could recopy all the proportions and put a not equal sign. That will lose you credit, because if you do that, you're saying that all of these are incorrect. And our haw is just at least, maybe all of them, but if at least one. And then also in your state part, you want to put your level of significance. We're going to do 5%. And I don't know why they use the subscript I here for the to reference the proportions, but they do. State plan. We're going to do chi-square goodness of fit if conditions are met. And if you were absent yesterday, we talked about the fact that, yes, we're doing goodness of fit now, but there's 3 different types of chi-square. So as we work through these goodness of fit, kind of be thinking about, hey, what makes this a goodness of fit? And I'll tell you one way you can tell. If they give you hypothetical percentages to compare to, you're looking at goodness of fit. Homogeneity would be more like if we said, does educational level determine whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent? See, we don't have any percentages to compare to. So kind of be keeping that in the back of your mind for when we hit the next test. So let's look at the conditions. Random. I'm going to go back to my paragraph and recopy randomly selected time of day. Large sample size. And let me caution you, do not take the normal condition under chi-square. You will lose credit. That's not a part of these conditions. What are we checking in this large sample size? Two words. Anybody remember? We're checking expected counts. Not what we observed, but the expected counts. And do y'all remember what the number is? What number are we looking for? So let's start checking. We had, let's see what our sample size was. 156. And we expected to see 54% in the first. That's greater than 5. It's not enough to say expect all expected counts are at least 5. You have to show somewhere that you check each one. And I didn't really talk through the independence. It's the 10% condition. For the do part, you need 3 pieces. You need your chi-square, you need your p-value, and your degree of freedom. We get our chi-square from the calculator after we run the test. And in this case, the chi-square is 7.418. But we also want to show that we know how that number, where that number came from, so you show them one place, and then you don't have to do any more. So does anybody, y'all remember the formula for doing that? It's on your formula sheet if you don't. Perfect. Observed minus expected squared over expected. And then, I'm sorry I didn't leave enough room, you would do plus dot dot dot. And that shows the reader that you do know where the number came from. And you don't have to try to keep that in your head. It is on your formula sheet, which is and the p-value. And I'm going to go ahead and give you these values, and we can run the test on our calculators to make sure that we can all get those values. The degree of freedom is 2. And degree of freedom is your categories minus 1. So I had 3 categories, 3 minus 1 is 2. and our p-value is less than 5%, so we're going to reject. I'll let you practice on the calculator. We got to finish that conclusion, and I need your help. I need you to understand. When we reject, we always say, so we have evidence that, and we go back to the alternate and recopy. Okay, so let's go back to the alternate. So we have evidence that at least one of the p's is incorrect. Mathematically, that's sound. What am I going to lose credit for? What's happening here that I need to fix? There's no context. We have no idea what that P is. So in this case, just straight copying the ha is not going to get us. So we kind of have to understand what the problem's saying. So could we put this in context? If we're not finding the birds like 54% with the firs, 40% with the pines, and 6% with the other, then what does that mean about the trees and the birds? Apparently the birds are preferring a specific kind of tree. Otherwise you find them in the same proportion as the trees. So if we want to pull some context in, our ha is going to have to look like this. And it's going to require that we understand the problem. There is evidence that the birds prefer a certain type of tree. And I've struggled with that because I want it to make sense. I know it's a little bit different than the ha, but it does just kind of require that you understand what's going on. And that finishes up 7. So if you want to go ahead and get started.